What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed that slate of NFL games, man. Those were really, really fun to watch, especially in the 1 o'clock window. But today, it's not about the NFL. It's about the Monday night games in the NBA, what we are calling Monday night tip-off. Basically, like we do with Wednesday, we're using it as a checkpoint during the week, Monday and Wednesday, to go through, talk about what happened before this day, a look ahead to what happens after this day. And same thing with Wednesdays, man. It's just to continue some NBA coverage. So for today's episode, we're going to cover some of the stuff that happened in this previous round of in-season games, let you know who's winning in their divisions, and so on and so forth. Then we're going to talk about some of the games, two Eastern, two Western Conference matchups for Monday night that I look to see what's going on. Obviously, we will cover any injuries and news that comes up as well. But let's go ahead and dive right in, man. On Friday of last week, the in-season tournament wrapped up its third section of games. The Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers win in the Eastern Conference. That is big because we'll talk about here in a minute who is leading in each division. The Nuggets lose to the Pelicans, and the Suns barely beat the Jazz in the Western Conference of this. I think the reason we're going to talk about, or the reason I had this in my notes, the Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers win. They are now at the top of their respective divisions, whatever you want. I'm not sure what they call these, but the groups, I guess they're called groups. Um, Obviously, these are the top three contenders in the Eastern Conference, or so we think so far this season. Obviously, the Bucks have struggled a little bit, but they are playing a tad better. So I feel like those wins are big to note. Obviously, the Nuggets lose to the Pelicans. That's big as well for in-season tournament play. We'll talk about that down here because they are now losing to the Pelicans, and I believe they're either losing or tied. I have it down here in my notes. We'll talk about it like I said. And obviously, with the Suns barely beating the Jazz, that's worrisome. We heard earlier this week that Bradley Beal is going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. We thought we were going to get the debut a couple days ago of the full and healthy Big Three, but we just haven't been able to get it yet. Bradley Beal's back is still not in condition to be played, and so I think that's a little bit worrisome. Obviously, the depth of the Suns is something that has been questioned since they've made the Kevin Durant trade and now the Bradley Beal trade. So we'll have to see, man. If these guys can't be healthy, it's going to be a real struggle for the Suns this season. But let's go ahead and dive into a little bit more detail here. The Pacers lead East Group A. The Bucks are tied with the Heat in East Group B, and the Celtics lead East Group A. I think something to note that is impressive, the Pacers are 2-0. They are in the same group as the 76ers, who they beat a couple nights ago. I think it was on Tuesday of last week. And so that's really big. Obviously, the Celtics are supposed to win their group. They're in a division or group where there's not a lot of great teams. There are a lot of younger teams. Diving straight into the Western Conference groups. In the West, Lakers are leading Group A. The Pelicans are and the Nuggets are tied in Group B. Which is why we mentioned it at the top of the show. That's very big. And the Kings and Wolves are tied for first place in Group C. I think that this is shaping out to be something really, really cool, something really fun. As an NBA junkie, as a sports junkie, it's the games have been awesome, and so I just want to keep you guys as updated as possible and give you the information and kind of my take on it, and I also want to hear your guys' take on it down in the description below. But let's go ahead and move on from the in-season tournament recap. The Celtics are on a back-to-back. They played the Grizzlies Sunday night without Marcus Smart. He is out 3 to 5 weeks due to a injury. I'm not sure the specifics of it, but obviously obviously he didn't play, and so they're on a back-to-back. Where tonight they play the Hornets. Should be another win for those guys. We're filming this on Sunday, so I can get it out to you guys on Monday. So I do not know the result of the Memphis game and Memphis and Celtics game yet. I'll keep you updated in the community tab like I do with the NFL. So make sure you guys are looking into that. But yeah, I think the Celtics extend the best record in the league. If they win tonight versus Memphis, I think they win 2 in a row. They are on a road trip. I believe these are the last 2 games for the road trip, and then they are back home. Moving on, the rematch of the Heat Bulls game. If you don't know, the Bulls were down 26-1. They come back to win. Obviously, Heat fans were not happy about that. I have 2 or 3 Heat fans that I know that I call friends. They were not happy about the game. Nor why you just can't be happy about it. The Heat season and off season have been lackluster. I think they would agree with that. They obviously wanted to get Damian Lillard. That didn't happen. And it's just been kind of up and down for the Heat. But as a Celtics fan, I am never going to count them out. The Heat are a team that it doesn't matter who they have. Heat culture is a real thing, no matter how funny or how made fun of it gets. Um, it's the saying for a reason. Like we mentioned with the Chargers chargering. That saying is a reason, right? And so same thing with Heat culture, man. They're going to roll out a team. They're going to play hard. They're going to fight hard, and they're going to get wins. And they're going to be in it at the end of the season. But that rematch is taking place tonight. Um, Something to note at the end of the game for Zach LaVine after they win the game, he was visibly upset. Storms off the court to the locker room, kind of barreling through a reporter. I think didn't really knock her over, but the reporter tried to grab him. I think it was a reporter. Could have been a Bulls staff member. I'm not 100% sure. But obviously, with the rumors early on in the season with the Bulls, people thinking they're going to blow it up. They're accepting trade calls, requests, whatever you want to call it. The rumors around this team are only going to get more and more heavy with each loss or each incident like this that happens on the court. And so I think if the Miami Heat pull the game out on Monday, it's going to be a pretty rough next couple weeks for Bulls fans. Obviously, the big 3 that they have, trade targets, I should say, the big 3, Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan, have been mentioned in trade requests, or not trade requests, but trade calls. And so I look for that game to be a pretty big one in the future for the Bulls franchise. Moving on from the Eastern Conference games, Western Conference 2 games pique my interest here. Kings, Pelicans, Warriors, Rockets. Let's dive into Kings, Pelicans first. Jose Alvarado and Zion Williamson are a game time decision. Obviously, that moves the needle a lot. Whether or not I'm going to pick the Kings or Pelicans, we'll talk about that here in a second. Um, if I didn't, I want to give you my official picks for the other 2 games. Celtics, Heat. I think those are going to be the 2 to come out of the Western Conference for the games we are picking. For the Eastern Conference, for the Western Conference, man, I think the Kings are playing a lot better basketball. I think with CJ McCollum being out for the Pelicans, he's not only a great player on the court, but he's a great leader off the court. And so I think that they're missing that. Obviously, the collapsed lung is not it's a very serious injury. We don't know when or if he's going to be able to come back. Obviously, like I mentioned before, Zion and Jose Alvarado are game time decisions. I'm still going to take the Kings regardless. I think that De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis have been playing some of their best ball this year. They look very strong. Obviously, they're a very fun team to watch. Malik Monk has made some big plays these past few games, and it looks like they're kind of getting back into the form of the team we saw last year. So even if Zion and Jose play, I don't really see them winning. I think Sabonis is going to be able to cancel out Zion just with the way he's been playing this year. He hasn't been playing to that All NBA player that we thought he could be, and that we've seen a little bit when he has played. He hasn't quite lived up to those expectations this year. And so I think the Kings pull out that game. The second game, like we mentioned, were the Warriors and Rockets. Let's go ahead and dive into this game, man. The Rockets are playing great basketball. Ime Udoka has the guys playing really well. As a Celtics fan, Ime Udoka, I got to watch him a lot, watch his philosophy play out on the court. Obviously, he was a big part of the reason the Celtics got turned around 2 years ago now, and they are the team they are now. So I think with the way the Rockets have built this team this year, they have a lot of good young guys, and they have a lot of vets that are teaching the young guys. Obviously, Jeff Green has been big. A little bit of a resurgence with Dylan Brooks as well. I think the Memphis made him a little bit of a scapegoat. I think he also said the same thing, kind of blamed it all on him. Now, I'm not a huge Dylan Brooks fan, so don't get me wrong, but I think he got a little bit too much blame in that situation. But man, what to be said about the Golden State Warriors? Klay Thompson looks like a shell of himself. So does Andrew Wiggins. The only person that's playing up to their standards right now is Steph Curry. Even he's struggling a tad. Draymond Green, 5-game suspension. Even when he was playing, they didn't look good. You guys know how I feel about Draymond Green anyway. He's going to be a good player on the court, but I think he just causes a little bit too much trouble for them, a little bit too much off-court issues for the Warriors. But they've been able to win with it. This year, not so much. I think the Rockets get another win. I think the Warriors, I'm not sure what they're going to have to do. Whether they trade, whether they just kind of look at this season and see if they can get hot, or maybe this is just an off season for them. But unless Klay and Andrew can get back into rhythm, obviously Andrew dealt with some off-court issues, very serious issues, is what we were told by the Warriors front office. And so obviously hope he's doing okay mentally. But on the court just hasn't been his best player, and neither has Klay Thompson. So for those reasons, I'm going to take the Rockets for that game. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys are thinking in terms of the NBA season so far. Join the Discord down below. I would love to talk to you guys there. All my other social media is linked. Twitter is where you can get at me the most. I'm most active on Twitter. So tweet me. Let's have some conversations. Obviously, I missed the last Thursday game. I had some stuff going on, car issues and just life. And so I missed that. So I apologize for that. But if you guys want to see the Monday night pick, it will be on TikTok as well. That's in the description. And so, yeah, I just appreciate you guys so much for the love and support. If you're new here, hit the subscribe and like button. Also, turn on those post notifications. Share this video out if you like what I am talking about. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.